So with Black Panther and Infinity War coming out pretty soon, I figured I'd review every single Marvel Cinematic Universe movie from Phase 1 and Phase 2, as I started reviewing the MCU movies just when Phase 3 began. I'll do a ranking of Phase 2 sometime before Infinity War, but for now, I'm just ranking Phase 1, which ranges from Iron Man to the Avengers. Alright, let's get into this. So this is the movie that kicked off all of the MCU. Iron Man is great. I mean, what did you expect me to say about this? It's got a great cast, awesome action, and a really good character arc. Everyone gives a great performance in this. Jeff Bridges, Gwyneth Paltrow, Clark Gregg, and Terrence Howard all do a great job, but the standout is obviously Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. He manages to pull off being a complete douche at the start and then becoming this awesome hero that we all end up loving. And it never feels forced or unnatural. And then there's the action sequences. The scene where Iron Man is up against all those terrorists is honestly one of my favorite action scenes in any movie. It's just awesome. The only complaint I have is that Obadiah Stane as a character doesn't make a ton of sense. He's really just there to have a cool fight scene at the end, and his character just goes crazy for no reason whatsoever. But I must admit, seeing Jeff Bridges act crazy is really entertaining.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps!
So overall, Iron Man is just a fantastically entertaining movie with a great cast and action scenes. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. The Incredible Hulk is nothing special, really. It's pretty good, there's nothing terrible about it, but there's also nothing too remarkable either. The acting's pretty great, especially from Edward Norton and Tim Roth, and the action scenes are really entertaining, but apart from that, the movie doesn't have anything that memorable about it. Unlike Iron Man, the scenes where people are just talking come across as kind of boring in this. There's not much conflict or any character arc. Throughout the whole movie, Bruce Banner just doesn't want to be the Hulk anymore, and right at the end, his character changes his mind because he needs to have a cool fight scene. Overall, The Incredible Hulk is serviceable, but definitely not a standout in the MCU. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. Iron Man 2 is pretty good. Alright, I have some mixed feelings about this film. First off, the acting's great from everyone involved. Robert Downey Jr. is of course fantastic, Don Cheadle is really good, same with Scarlett Johansson, and Sam Rockwell seems to be having the time of his life. Yeah! The action is great, but the main problem with this movie is by far the writing. This basically has the same plot as the first movie with the exact same character arc. In this film, Tony Stark starts off the same. He's reckless, he doesn't take things seriously enough, he's getting drunk in his Iron Man suit and peeing in it. What the hell was that scene, by the way? And then by the end, he learns to take things more seriously and becomes a hero. And then he has to fight someone in another Iron Man suit. It's just like the first movie. Overall, Iron Man 2 isn't terrible, but it's not that great either. I'm gonna give it a 6.2 out of 10. Thor is good, but like what I said about The Incredible Hulk, it's nothing that special. There's some good performances, it's really funny, the action's great and really creative for the most part, especially the opening action scene, but the main problem with this movie is that for the most part, Thor takes place on Earth. And it's kind of boring, honestly. There's some funny moments, and Chris Hemsworth is fantastic in this, but he doesn't have great chemistry with Natalie Portman. It's not awful, but I just don't buy into their romance at all. Overall, Thor has some great moments, but everything on Earth isn't that interesting. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Captain America: The First Avenger is good for the most part. The first half of the movie is fantastic. The cast is amazing, Sebastian Stan, Haley Atwell, Stanley Tucci, and Dominic Cooper are all great, and Chris Evans is perfect as Steve Rogers. And he has great chemistry with everyone involved. He's also a really good and likable character. The World War II setting is really interesting for a superhero movie, and the CGI is also incredible. Chris Evans' head was digitally put onto another man's body. It looks a bit weird sometimes, but it never takes you out of the movie. The second half of the movie, however, is where it all begins to fall apart. It's just action scene after action scene of Captain America fighting Nazis, and it just becomes boring. By the end of the movie, it's just everyone fighting with CGI lasers, and it doesn't look realistic at all. Overall, Captain America the First Avenger starts off really well, but becomes a bit of a mess by the end. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. The Avengers is awesome. When I first saw this movie in cinemas, it was my favorite movie of all time. This is the movie that got me interested in movies. First off, the cast is incredible. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, and Tom Hiddleston are all amazing in this, and they each get their time to shine. The movie is also incredibly funny, and the action is fantastic. The final battle in New York was just lots of fun. It was also unheard of at the time to see all these characters that each had their own movies to come together, but this movie pulls it off, and it's great. I honestly don't have any real complaints about this movie. Overall, The Avengers is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. So here's how I'd rank Phase 1 of the MCU. At number 6, or basically my least favorite movie of these, is Iron Man 2. Number 5 is The Incredible Hulk. Number 4 is, coincidentally, Thor. Number 3 is Captain America the First Avenger. Number 2 is Iron Man, and number 1 is Marvel's The Avengers. Anyway, that's how I'd rank Phase 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thanks for watching, remember to leave a like, I'd really appreciate it, and subscribe for more videos like this one.